The Vietnam War was a war that stretched on over decades, but today we'll be focusing on the U.S. involvement starting in 1954. The Vietnam War was fought between South Vietnam and North Vietnam, or the Vietnamese Communists. Obviously, having just exited the Cold War, the U.S. was determined to stop the spread of all communist actions around the globe.
This is a soldier in Vietnam. As a soldier, he would have to carry a lot of supplies in a heavy pack. It also rains a lot in Vietnam. In The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien, we learn that the things they carry were largely determined by necessity. Among the necessities, or near necessities, were
E38 can openers, pocket knives, heat tabs, wristwatches, dog tags, mosquito repellent, chewing gum, candy cigarettes, salt tablets, packets of Kool-Aid, lighters, matches, sewing kits, military payment certificates, sea rations, and 2 or 3 canteens of water,
among other things.
The U.S. entered the Vietnam War in order to quell the communist uprising. They broadcast their message all over Vietnam using propaganda and the media. However, these morale-boosting messages probably should have been used inside our own country as well. There was something called the credibility gap. The credibility gap was when the footage of the combat that was shown on TV and in the media did not mirror President Johnson's optimistic outlook. This was a propaganda poster that was shown to the Vietnamese during the war. It reads, "Anywhere there is communism, there is terrorism and assassination." This poster that was created by the U.S. showed a message that was powerful, put together, and morale-boosting. And that's what the U.S. was supposed to represent. Powerful, put together, and full of morale. However, it was a completely different story from what was going on at home. There was a lot of controversy in the United States over the draft. It wasn't exactly fair until 1969, when draft selection switched from being chosen by a draft board to being drawn via lottery. People still found ways to escape the draft by using medical or psychological disorders/disabilities as excuses, or some people just fled the country. Many people were opposed to the draft, and a lot of people were just anti-war in general. University campuses became hotspots for anti-war protests, and by 1972 there were actually more conscientious objectors than actual draftees. This image shows an anti-draft protest in the United States. The war was very unpopular in the US, and the draft made it even more undesirable. In the picture, you can see a vandalized truck with the words "Get Out" scrawled across it, blocking traffic, presumably on the way to a draft office. There are protesters with signs that read, "Hell no, no one goes," and other variations of "Get out." As you can see, the protests were not small movements. After President Nixon was elected, he began the process of Vietnamization. This was a strategy in which Nixon withdrew American troops in Vietnam, transferring military powers to South Vietnam. This was publicly expressed as a way to achieve peace with honor. Within 3 years, Nixon cut the amount of U.S. soldiers in Vietnam down by half. I hope you learned something today about Vietnam War and how it was shown in the media and how the masses responded to it.